I've lived on this farm for three generations. That's how long my family's been here. My grandfather built this house, and he tells me that that river right back there, where the condo development, where those condos are now, that was nothing but woods when he first built this house. I learned a whole lot about working the farm for my grandfather. I used to work it with him often. And when I got to be an adult, when I grew up, Jim would go to work and I minded the house and I minded the farm. So I always felt a really powerful connection to this land.
Wow, we started in Los Angeles and started marching. And we've made it over 2,000 miles, and as we get into Ohio, we've become too big to fail.
When I found out that my brother had sold the mineral rights, I still can't tell him that I love him. He calls on my birthday and on Christmas, and I can't pick up the phone. The woman across the street, her horses were losing all their hair, and she didn't even sign anything. The guy that sold the mineral rights, some property owner back in 1922, sold the mineral rights, and when the gas company came on, they told her that she didn't own her own property. They invade.
All along the way, we've had a paid person to pave our way through the state, and ever since we ran out of money and went solvent, we haven't been able to hire paid coordinators. We don't know what to do and how to handle this situation.
So the lady who lives across the street, her name is Joanne, and she and I, we figured there had to be other people in our area who didn't think that this should be able to happen. And we knocked on people's doors and we started to get a coalition of people together. We put up signs in our front yards so people would know where we stood. And we would go to the county commissioner meetings because the county commissioners say that they want to hear what your opinions are about what should happen to the county. And so we'd talk about how the horses' hair were falling out, and we'd talk about all of it, and they hardly looked at us. Most of the time they were looking down at their phones. One guy, I started speaking, he got up and left the room, and he came back when I was finished. And they didn't seem to have any regard for the science because in spite of everything they said, they kept changing the zoning so that they went from being able to frack on, this industry and agricultural land to coming right into people's yards.
I'm going to take this matter into my own hands. I'm going to roll up my sleeve and pull up my boots by the straps. I'm the only one in this group with decent networks in Ohio and know much about the state. I'm going to take this into my own hands. I'm a rugged individual.
So I thought, well, these commissioner people aren't going to do anything for me. I need to put myself in a position where I can make decisions about this. I'm going to run for mayor. Woo! And I think we could probably all imagine how that went, given how the government of this state works. I was running against a guy who had millions of dollars of campaign finance from the oil and gas industry, and I had a couple $1,000 budget and some friends who wanted to help me with my campaign.
I'm going to finalize our route. I'm going to get us campsites and all the places we're going through. I'm going to get really cool events and all the places that we're going through, and this is going to be the best state yet, and we're really going to engage with these issues. I just know it.
Well, I realized that as an ordinary citizen, I couldn't do anything, and I couldn't get myself into a position where I could do anything, because in order to get into a position like that, you've already got to be alongside the oil and gas people. So I realized that our laws are not designed to protect us. Our state government is run by the oil and gas companies, and they're the only people who those county commissioners, Kasich, anybody else, have ever looked out for.
This is too much for me. This is too much for any one man to handle, or any one person. No one wants to host us for free. I can't drive the route ahead of time. This is just overwhelming with the event planning. We need an army of support. No, we need a community.
So I started to think, what if we just said no? Screw the law, screw the county commissioners. What if we just decided that we weren't going to let them come? And sure enough, I didn't know how to do this by myself, but I discovered that we weren't the only people in the state of Ohio who had run into this idea, shockingly enough, and that a friend of mine actually got word of an organization called CELDEF, that's the Community Environmental Legal Defense Fund, and they help people say no and make their own freaking laws in their community, rather than saying, oh, please, Mr. Oilman, please just, poison me like 2 ounces less. Instead, they find a way for people to actually say, you're not coming in here because we make our own laws, and our policy isn't set up to allow for that. We're working in our own interest. We're not working in yours. And who says that we don't have the right to do that?
All right, I have to swallow my pride and ask help. I need all the diverse perspectives and skill sets and backgrounds of the entire tribe. This whole rugged individual thing is stupid.
So, you know what a Community Bill of Rights is? It's our own Bill of Rights. Our Community Bill of Rights even includes rights for ecosystems. Sounds pretty out there to a lot of people. And it includes our community's right to a clean energy future, every individual's right to clean air and clean water, probably most importantly, the community's right to self-determination, so that who can say no? The people who are about to be poisoned, they can say no. It's not, Mr. Man in the Sky anymore.
To change everything, we need everyone.
Yeah!
Woo! I think that here in Ohio, we are the only ones that we've been waiting for, and the only ones that we can wait for.